Adishima me mamu nyina jo ema makwaba eba United Television so yakase boy nsa kan fi oman mu ene amahodo bi so no se mufo so ne so ede eso mu nsi agba pounds ma edunum yi. Ya kan mo say this way chocolate drink ene the coffee drink. This way 1 2 3. This way no dirty cream and ebusua no e kan bi na kase boy ede bram sanso na special sinsuo. Special drink best point saving saloons and the best assurance. Wo mo boy kase bo no abrem. Na de di makutini bi ene se don kase na se bedwamu ba no de ni de tudwa kiremu se enye se bia wo challenge Speaker of Parliament, I for Musikasam and to Tia.
Penina or da Edom Kumano, Sima walk and say, and shall the motion be ever back. No COVID-19 Sika, in Nye, dear Abanidia and Wabichim.
Over John Bodu, your friend Uncle JB, our year church for Penima MPP, American say, was signed a pre the Brady Bill.
Nana Knodu Ajman Rollins, I see a bay, said Ghana, a Mamra Constitution, ye bay and Sakai, a womb.
Ye kwa santemante mo awo sama yen saka e kire se okokufi ase e wa santemante mo a enemiri mu nkwada etifam ene hyiade
IGP Edin se misa makomako edunum ato e de amane British High Commissioner se onyia no
ense bi kan wenum ho ne de bra mo se kasebo na ye ka mo se social media handles awdo ni nyina no ye kasebo yi etwegu okwa DSTV channel 360 akenkanfo aye so mo na nwumre yi eye me Agya Kwabena binimini aba
Obahima Afia Chesi
Africa sebo ne munsam nie si ahwefo bakaya beto dwa nansan say Speaker of Parliament kire se omen yakwa amabosika no ne titiru Parliament de no yate so na kakra na se musa kan so no wo musa enya anka ne se ohia Parliament na nsem iba bonten no dom kase omrase bidwa ne ba no dani urunyamfo ose echi mensa bonsu so kasa de fa kire se nsem a Speaker ka no enya no kore na sasem yi akwa etwa mentwe na no ena enne onunyafo osebusu ekire mu se enye se ebia wo challenge Speaker of Parliament.
It seems to me that the Speaker was not aware that that amount had come to Parliament. So on Thursday he made a statement to the extent that Parliament didn't have money to run our usual business. But I was in Kumasi. Friday morning, then I had a radio, one of these radio presenters called me in the morning that the Speaker had made this statement. And my reaction was that, it's not entirely the case, and that some amounts have been released to Parliament, and that we have to have a meeting with the Finance Minister, the Controller and Accountant General, so that we have regular releases to forestall these matters, because these things have been with Parliament over the past years. I will need to bring it to a closure. If to arrange that monthly we should have releases. That was a statement that I made. Apparently, some communication was made to the Speaker that in public space I had contradicted him and so on. So the Speaker came to the House and made some statements. And I consider it unfortunate. However, it was born out of a communication mishap. And I did not go out there to contradict the Speaker. I spoke to what I knew. And I believe that we have had some discussions on this, and I believe we can move forward as a collective. My prayer is that leadership and the Speaker shall have to invite the Minister of Finance, the Controller Accountant General, that going forward, these occasional hitches don't recur. Because so that is the true position, as I did indicate, and as I said, it was not intended to downwalk what the Speaker had put out there. Yeah. Thank you very much.
We are updating as to the challenges Parliament is facing in connection with the delay in the budgetary releases to Parliament to enable us to transact our business. In fact, for the first quarter, Parliament was to be given 54 million to enable us implement the program for the first quarter. We were actually given 7 million. Then, with the information that the majority has given, the money that he just mentioned, which I also mentioned on Friday, the the 25 million that was released is part of our arrears of 84 million for last year. That is what has been released. Last year, at the closure of the year, we were owed about 84 million. And so as part of this that they have released as 25 million. We are giving you this information so that leadership and speakership are not blamed for not responding positively to the requests of members and committees to transact their business. But truly, as the majority leader said, 25 million was released on Thursday as part of the arrears of 2021. And so it definitely went to our creditors, and I can tell you that we're losing face because anytime we requested for support again, the creditors didn't want to respond because we owe them for far too long. That's the position we have. We had a discussion early this morning as part of the pre-sitting meeting, and we agreed to what the majority leader has proposed. There might be constant meetings of leadership and speaker, and also with His Excellency the President, the Comptroller and Accountant General, for us to stop considering Parliament as part of the MNDs. No.
Yako Ghana mwashebe juma edom kumane se omo bonkaye na enche ombe file motion bi motion no ebe hwe se aban emebu sika bebo 19 billion Ghana cedis a onyae e o covid brem na ho akonta emfa nche Ghana for enyina.
In the minority in Parliament, as much as we feel vindicated, we also feel equally scandalized by emerging reports by leading members of the New Patriotic Party, in particular a lady vice chair called Felicia from the Northern region, Felicia Tete, who is publicly reported to have said that COVID monies were shared amongst party leadership, constituencies regional, and for my purposes I add national. Yes. That in fact makes our call for an eminent investigation of the highly anomalous COVID expenditure spending to be probed by Parliament or by the Auditor General, or if President Nana Addo Dankwa has any respect for the tenets and values of accountability and transparency, to authorize a public probe inquiry into how the over 19 billion COVID monies were disbursed and utilized. As I indicated, we are vindicated because we now can understand why a motion by the minority in Parliament to prove COVID by an institution which should be the most fundamental institution and guardian of the public purse, Parliament, will dismiss the motion even at death by actors of the New Patriotic Party political administration. So as much as we feel vindicated, we are further scandalized, and we are calling on President Nana Addo Dankwa and reminding him that the 1992 Constitution is premised on probity and accountability, and that if he has any respect for the values of integrity, let him probe COVID and COVID spending across the country. But we are to believe for now and conclude that the Felicia evidence is good evidence. And that when Excellency John Dramani Mahama addressed some group in the United States barely a month ago and stated that COVID resources were used to prosecute the 2020 elections. Little did he know that Felicia Tete will come and affirm that which Excellency John Dramani Mahama stated. Amiss, Felicia doesn't work for the NDC. She works for the New Patriotic Party.
MP Pama Yokono Church for Penny Ura John Bodu that to Jechemu say ye mfimpi mienu ene aduonu nan de bra hodo a wo kuremu abepem sabira ba ebeto no so no peso di MP Pama Yokono animo na so church for Penny no wasan adanadi say sa de bre no wo preview
nyame adom juma ye di wo party mo many executives over the years no yetumi edum pempen so bia national ebe biemu na gofo a omotu omo ho achese omo national officers of the party no omo de omo nwoma aba na me John Boedu me decide say nyame boa na ye biemu a me de me nwoma ebekọ as general secretary me gina efidie we so ada biara ase omo makọ elections ni nyina constituency for electoral area for region 4 polling station 4 external branches nyina yato aba omo winning nyina democracy na ewini dey can say ejuma edaye ni so no ejuma so no ejuma edaye ni so no ejuma ebinsida na se ebinsida wo se ye de obi a ene nkofo a omo aye ejuma ni bi da omo nim ejuma ni so na omotumi aye ejuma no ema no ayefe nyame adom no ye kan si so say wema over the period no ye nyina ya ka bomu aye no ebehu behia se party ni beko nanim party ni beko nkan a na me John Boedu na me executives juma ye di over the period no ehu behia se mere ni du na ye to aba eyi general secretary mo bi anhwe ba bi ha.
So one more, our person money John Boedu ever preno. Especially we are in the crucial moment. Yeah. Whereby our national chairman don't want to go again. Mr. I'm telling you, the national chairman play. Okaho on the leading year 2016 and we leading 2020. What you say? Any of the Bible now no, I catch them okupuamu se onkobio. And it's a one Kobiewa. I general secretary on Kanoa. One also so Ekawa administratively. One on the Timisha and man in our person. If we want to break the 8, we cannot break the 8 without John.
Founder Emma National Democratic Party NDP eye na nakonodu Agya Rawlings na de ode atudwa ene se 1992 constitutional ye de ebu omen ebebru emfinhia aduasane ne de aye adwuma saa eho behia se ensesa bi etumi bem na aboa ama tumi a ye de ni nyina ehye omampanyi ene mpanyifo bi nsa ne etumi abubum ama enema akoyi. Afia pem ahankro aduokno mienu 1992 ena Ghana fo hwehwa yadwene editintim amamra a eno ye constitution no enya emfinhia aduasa 30 years na empenyini si ensuo chetuo mo eyihwa eno enti ena nana kredu Agya Rawlings so ye fankakrani ewo NDP amayukuru mo sanso ye kofabai asre senkebe ya yenyen sakraye ewo amamranim wase ya mamra ekita ne mass separation of powers enye adwuma enti abankra bata mienseni nyada aka bomu a ye so emma amamra hyehye no emfa ne tumapa emfra wade nsemwe etudwa ewo party no atan yekese ewo enkran bra omo friends entwofo nhyiemu.
Because frankly, from a personal point of view, we cannot have a separation of powers of the constitution to have the executive the parliament, and what else? And the judiciary being independent. When in the parliament, half of them become part of the executive. But common sense tells me that you cannot mix the two. One should be independent of the other. So you can check each other and make sure that things are being done right. So I made a memo. I made another memo to the chairman of the PADC then. In fact, today when I sit back and I see the gerrymandering, so you have somebody in parliament who wins an election by 5,300 people, and he's a parliamentarian, and somebody has won by 100 and something thousand, 200 and something thousand, and we are supposed to be the same. No, we cannot. No. So definitely 30 years of our constitution, we should look at it again. Do you guys agree with me or not? We as a party should look at it and see what we feel we can actually shape up in a way that will make our country better. Not that will make NDP better, no. Our country, because we are the country. Who are we?
Adesimama UTV and you make us a ball and a mush madama, Moma and Kwaji above on Krato, Yaba, Diakano, Yedebesoso. adeshima me yadam ase se mo hwe mekoto nkraya be kasebo no yeto aso ekuo bi efre no imani Africa ye hwehwemu bi afọ kwan a oman ya soye ene abanyumeku ahodro no edi sika sabi wumtumi mu akonta na mo chese impimienu ene edunum ebepim impimienu ene edunu no sika abanyumeku ahodro edi omutumi mu akonta no eye 13.9 billion Ghana cedis na sika no madi a wumtumi mu akonta na so madi ne kwa a hyegu no den wanwan say finance ministry edi kan health ministry etosumienu
wo abanyumaku awodo mu ne kwan yomofa so adisika eye adwuma no ena imani Africa fo ye hwehwemu efa ho a omodi anodi sem no atodwa omo ehyaase 2015 kopim 2020 mu omo wieye no na sika abanyumaku awodo no aseno no eye 13.9 billion Ghana cedis na asuyeya edikan no eye asuyeya hwe omo sika sem so omo sika pa ansa na asuyeya hwe apomuden so aba na asuyeya ehwe akwan ne akwantempo so na openyin research consultant ewe Imani Ghana Dennis Asari ekasa cheche nsemu ye echen centrofo.
We looked at the financial irregularities or the financial cost of the indiscipline of public institutions or ministries, department and agencies in Ghana, and over the period between 2015 and 2020 the irregularities of public institutions, that is ministries, department and agencies, is about 13.9 billion Ghana cedis. And if you compare that with the period between 2010 and 2014, the irregularities in this period or between 2015 and 2020 has increased more than 13 times, which means that the public financial management reforms that we have implemented are not delivering optimal results to the country. Now, if you critically go into the 13.9 billion, tax irregularities alone was about 9.2 billion. That is over 65% of the total irregularities recorded. Again, cash irregularities was the next highest irregularity, about 21%, or that's approximately 2.9 billion. Averagely, in the last 6 years, that is between 2015 and 2020, the average financial cost of irregularity is about 2.3 billion, and that is higher than how much we spent during the COVID-19 pandemic or the additional healthcare spending. Then again, if you compare the tax irregularities alone to the amount we've spent on free senior high schools, that is 7.7 billion. The tax irregularities recorded in the last 6 years, 2015 to 2020, is higher than how much we've spent on a critical social service or social intervention program like free senior high school program. Now, if you go into the ranking, the Ministry of Finance and its subsidiary agencies are the most fiscally reckless institution, followed by the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Roads and Highways, Employment and Foreign Affairs.
Imani Center for Policy and Education Executive Director Orua Franklin Kuju Enso Ekasaye.
Specifically focusing on the Office of Government Machinery. In fact, a couple of years ago, before the special prosecutor will be appointed, we did a paper titled Charity Begins at Home. If the president wanted to fight corruption, he should start from his home. And I think we found out that the budget overruns were, in some instances, almost 100%. What the current government has done has been quite clever. What they did was to jack up the budget so that they will have little to report by way of overruns. So that's one of the things we noted.
Ghana by anemu senior wo America Her Excellency Agya Alima Mahama wo de futu ma Ghana for mo amanone ene wom so mo mamu nyina say aban di e-levy eto aba eye ye nyina enta echima enyina
na otwe awie ekopiem ewo Dallas no ewo America abrochiman mu a eyade a Ghana for adehia omo enkanka eye asantefo mekire Asanteman Association of Dallas Texas omo etimi aye adwumadie kese a omo to omo nsa efre Asante no tumfo osetutu otosumienu ono so esoma bofo tepaman hene nana adusei antwerewa ampem the first a okosi Asante hene anan mu a omo timi eye bibia na no ena adwumadie no so eba awie no omo sa ebodwa omo erekeka omo nsase sedebe ya omo de ba beboa adwumadie ewo Ghana hano na no ena Ghana anam senior ono wo America mekire Ghana ambassador to United States of America Agya Alima Mahama emra wo kasa ena wo kire se omo wo America de enso ne ekoso Ghana ha nyina omo enim entino omo enter aban na echi efise Ghana mampanyin na nado danko akufuado wo hwe nanse anhyehyɛ ya wo de ba efa yi levia wo de ba amamfo ekasa no na nya se bia wo de ba sa amamfo ho bekiro be sire be ya oman ne betime nya sika na afenhyehyɛ pa ene impuntudwuma etimi aba enti no omofo ma ho ndi nyina emmoa na saa nhyehyeye enko so.
I'm sure you all heard that government put in parliament a levy called E-level for people to pay for government to get resources. We have to start learning about getting resources domestically, internally to support our economy, to support our development. And everybody tax where their economic productivity is high. And currently, as we speak in Ghana, the area that is growing is the mobile system, technology, ICT, that is growing. So it is only rightful that we tax that area to get something small to support our development. And that is why 1.5 levy was imposed. And in supporting the economy, we need to build our economy. We don't need to wait and be borrowing all the time. We need to get locally generated resources to support our economy. So I plead with you to support the government in that. For government to use for our water system, our roads, our hospitals. We realized that there was a gap in the health infrastructure that we need to support. So government needs resources for that. That's why the E-level was imposed. And I will seek and plead that you support the government to raise resources.
Eno echino UTV anam senior Dallas aye Jeff Nsiabodu enso ene empanyimfo ni bi ombe piem adwumadie na se eso etwetwe enkomo
Era 24 7 kabomu no pe ekroye no pa ma santima eni mpuntu no pa ma santima nti omo hwese de be ya asantima e wo Dallas ano enkoso ni mpuntu so betima ba mu wo ha na ye Ghana ni a wo betima ye investment nso wo Ghana se de be ya da che wo ba hodma o so be hu se wa ye adwuma papa bi nso wo Ghana masra santifo ha so mo nyina so ye mo ye ma me hagia one ye nu ataboafo omo mo chidom mo adwuma mo ye no so ntim nyankoso
asantemai asantemai Ghana for ye ko baby a ye die huni ye besrem mo me hwe ne enye baako mo amawo mo wo krom ha nyina no aban aye na dwene se enkwada amawo mo ha no so no ye be ye passport ede ama enkwada nyina
ni nyina twa ko wie se nkabom de me strength ema Dallas for awo ha ayo obi man so ade a ehia se o nyina be ka bom yeso e organa ne ehun se Dallas ye bibi papa nti so invite ya ne yeso ya ba ne yeso ya be boa o ama dwumadie na koso
na wasa dwumadie kro na nsahwe kro no ase no tepama hene ekasa na ne sa wonde tudwa ekirem sa wobehia se biakoye ekoso asantefo a ewo America no ne titiru Dallas for entem esanse ebetumi aboa ama impuntu omhwe kwanso so betumi aka no omusaka odi sami tudwa wobra omusi asante hene a owo Dallas
Asantemai Kurai War Dallas ewo US abrochime mechire Asantemai Association of Dallas Texas empanyimfo a wombedi asantefo nyina a omo Dallas no omode omo atra ade so nti nananom atra kunya aya amane ne amamre a sesi ade omo enya ohene ene ahemfo mbeka no ombetimi aboa na emfia eda yanimu omo etimi aye adwuma ade asom asantefo a omo Dallas nyina na afi ebiso etimi akaga eno ena mpanyimfo eto wo nsa de fra asante ne otumfo Asiedu a otoso mieno se ono na omfa ne monyam ne bibia mbeta kire na afi nsoaye no wonsom asante ne otumfo Asiedu etu tapaman hene nana edusei antwenwa ampim the first ma ono ena koye amane ene amamre asese a wagye nsoaye ama nana akompreko kwame Japan sese a ono ena ye Dallas asantefo nyina hene a dwumadie ne tima koso kama na titrufo mbe piemo eye Ghana ambassador ono wo US abrochimemu eye Agya Alima Mahama afi Ghana consul general ono wo Ghana permanent mission ewo United Nations wo New York ono monyamfo Daniel Ataboafo ono so ekopiemo ho afi nananom atrakunya omo free Ghana di omo ne monyankwata adwumadie no afi eye ahemfo ne bi eka ho a omo wo US abrochimemu eye states ahodo no omo so be piemo ho Dr. Kebedu eso edi ne monyam ebeta adwumadie na se na mra insuaye no ekoso no ene tepaman hene nana eduse antwewa ampim the first O2 asantefo efo ene wo kire mo se ye wa amane ne amamre ewom se kabila mika bi democracy sinesi kana no wo ho eda nananom esoso ewo kwan o mo se faso eye wo mo enema o kire mo se ewom so o mo eye US approach mem so ade bi o mo ye bia no eye asantefo ana se nananom atrakunyo mo Ghana ha no esapa o mo twato no eno so ene wo se o mo hwe no mo de yom bibia o mo ma o mo titi wo mo no o mo hwe na o mo ye ne ye
asantefo abo kroma ya no mo sisimas mo de democracy abata asante amamre ho emra na mo didi mo hene yes ye de amane ne amamre enti da bia ka asem kire ma mo nti de ne ebeka mo be free Ghana aba na tepa hene ma bisi sante hene na enso ye mo futu a mo tam so a mo pesa mo ko so necessary na mo pere dia ne am ko fa brofo bi no medi mo ni mai na Japan menu no sa hene fatal wonim nyansa sabi krom ho bia di ho adansepa nana ahene ni so be kan kofo abomo ahene ni so betimi aboa ma asantema ye nkoso e wodalasa ne ye kwa yi ne ye ko part ye se ye kire ye mane ye ma ye ba no amamre ne amane ya kire ma ma bi di free haba bi de ne wo se bi Ghana e boa mu ye kanyin force wuro free ukrom hene aben a o yire dwabas na mo hyase e kire ye man ne nananom se de asante amane esitie na mo kire wo mo na du ba bi anam de manso abata ti mo sa de manso abata konwa ho wa abrochi mamu a na Japan mo ne nana se kwa me ekwa bia mo be fa so ne nana hema ne wo mpanyimfo mo be boa modala school yi etima ye krabe no
Sunyane West ewo Bono Mantam no emo na bese enfie bibra etwam ni mpotamu bese aduonu baako de na wo mapenkane ache yie o mahwe ani mu ahwahwahwe na emma nyame adom afai de nkane ehyiren apie ewo kunkro no eso
nkro to baako aduonu baako 21 wo Sunyane West masini mu ewo Bono Mantam mu yakopɔ aye wo na dom anyina mu nkane a wonsa eka bie no ena wo mna se bedwani ono anso ne gina ho so wo soafo da nwumanyuma ne apadia so ye na no onumanyamfo Ignatius Bafo wa ekasa na wo chirima sa dwumadie yi eye self help electrification program na aboa afin so sai aban ni so de hunu se enkro bi e ben high voltage line be 20 kilometers die enya de edin bibire ese sa nkro ni nyina no electricity anya se nyina monkane a wotumi enya bi na wo chirima wo hwe ni mu se hwie bi afin pino ne aduonunum 2025 mu enkro nkuma bi a woni peso aso no enkane a ebeduru ho
adwuma we ye de nkane a ne ba ha ne ye friend self help electrification project SHEP na abankwa emfa ho ka no nyina community na ade no ekoso no omoso fa ka ne bi ekwan a mofa so a mofa ka ne bi ne se moboa etwa kwan ema contractor no na baabi a omobetu amna no etola bi kura no a moso moboa etu amna ne bi ye den ema wo mo na omoba so a mo na mo baabi da na etola bi kura aduane omobedie kura no so mo sa ye den eboa wo eti se motimi aye saade we nyina na nne omodi adwuma no abawie ya se mo amoa wo mo a nka adwuma na anye den amawie nkane ya ba edimpuntu ye den eba sesia me no mo kasai se nyame ya adom na yeso nkane ya wi a obahese bibe bie nikanika ewo ha ebi akane no na mo nante ko ade ana ba bi fufuro ne koyam nikanika obahwe nikanika beba ha se empo ebi wo ha ena ye tototo ni bia ebia se electronic one be dey ebeba
na ne kokro mu no ye ni kromafo ni bi kasa ma o kire wani so sei
se ne yankopon ya adwa ho na bo ga bie kwa ma light ba kroma ne de ebebo ankra na de sua ni kromafo no
ye school feeding wo krom ha sa de sane se wo hia de a ba bia me wo no wo firi ho ba kroma ya na ewa kakra enti se light ni ho a wontimi mma enti abribia ma emi dwumadi a medi no ya na aka echi kakra da bi ho eti mbo anadwo 10 nime ne makura me nyamye okwa omuso munni petru omunni wi be face senka light wo ho a nka e masa nti da bi wo ho kura na eti mbo be 10 kuro bi wa akire ha e fro kwa kudonko ne sese ne mahana zonto a media kwa akoya maburo no wo ho aseda sema me ka che na bo ne se yeda na se papa pa se yesu kire no no wati yesu frɛ na nei oba bi twa light na to mama ye
me ton pa no drinks na me provision store so ka ho light ni an ye bre ye beto blogger na ye beto drinks this e go fa blog free dumase na ye dia beton e ham bebe because they be say me kokuro enumre koda de cha na pa na moto blog asa baba light wa de anka meda wa me muwa me nko kromu nko fa blog ma fa so amenya wo ho se case kana da bia me be kwa akoto blog me nya fridge wa ha be boa me na da bia kwani aba no to betwa
light na ba de e de mfaso bebre if you say me carpenter ni me di machine sin nyina free code va buy na light ni ha no me di machine nyina ko ni krom na sana na ho so mente ho this light na ba pa mama hu say mama anije pa say me san ko sam machines na de aba ha abe ya adwuma wo ha nti light na ba de mani age ho pa
nansen awudi sembi koso omaga na mu amene pe bia kasa de atudwe ekiremu se de koso ne hyedan kwtwa ye kura nansen ase ebe ka ya lawyer ni ba ku bia nipa bonfo ko bu no tuaku no obole kwantempon so no Ghana Bar Association for the tudwa ekiremu se ade ya anwini ye pa nti na se police for hwe na mu ye hu bibi na mu de se be ba bonten na police adwumaku no de nkrata ba bonten na de mu ka nyina ne se obi aka na komanto ni yem no man hwirihwiri ankyere no anya se ebia nipa bonfo ebunkan for man no so da bi ente sa kura omu chense ni asema esiye no ade police adwumaku no etu anamu biero betumi se na be nipa bonfo yi ebetumi etu omso sa na owura recharge badom bire a nipa bonfo eku ni no anye se ebia omate ada so yelo ye ni nti no omu no de one de no ba pre ogidigidi aye hu hwehwemu sembi ebesia nipa bonfo sembia no police for edi insi ehwehwemu se obehu nipa bonfo no do chense sesi e kasa kwa chi nipa miense yesusu se wodi samu omu nim hu bi na nsam no chese police adwumaku no etu anamo bi e de hyehya foforo kora gu akwan mu a wo mo eku e de atia nipa bonfo sam a ekoso e wo manum no na wo mo ate ekosunku bi a ye from special anti robbery task force na sa task force yi no ye do makomia hodo esusu se wudi sam ene basabasa ye koso wo ho pa na saafo no ekwakoboa se de be ya nipa wo mo madwene so mankrofo na no titi nipa ni nyina no ebetumi hwe na ye to wo so sa o chese mantam ene mensini police commission nyina e do mo abomu bi a wo nyina eboa se de be ya ombobo dawuro e de akira nkwankore na o maboa nso ama ya yetimamfo nso ebetumi aboa police adwumaku no na bambo atumi awie peyo ewo omanga na mu enti the police adwumaku no kan nyina ne se Ghana fo nka makoma emfa nto omudiem na o mo hwe kwan se bambo nsem no ye be mena gina epintin
ye gina we suni age enkrato madaroma ebeba sisia Yamamu nyina akwa aba yetoa ensem no eso. Na yetoa ensem no so dia ye omemu na Britain aban anamusini a owo oman Ghana. Harry Thompson wokoto eti woni page. E no koka say Oliver Bakavoma wo convener Emma #face the country movement. Matisi asan achi ni bio. Yesi wonam kwan so court no. Wasan aye mfomso e wo kwan no so ama prosifo achi no. Asem we meni di achi papa na mehwe baabi a ebekwa kosie. We any Twitter Britain aban anamusini a owo my Ghana, Mame Harry Thompson or the two ni page. Na some way nam so ama IGP process ahene. Na ni anye ho. Enti watu ensemisa maku edunum e de amane mame. Na de nkan obisa nse oni ni fie asem. Oni ni fie asem esan so oyo hoho. Enti nya bibia e no de na no ebetumo. Obisa se anye bia Britain memu no. Emra no ema kwan. So obi betimi asori keke no ka se opese oyeku e wo ho ana. Ekoba ne sa den emra no eka e wo Britain. Afi wo san ebisa nse anye bia Britain se obi wo na oyinipa bonini no so witia oman no emra ene wo matemu enhyehyɛ ya. Se nipa no omobo no se eto hallelujah manana eno so Mame Harry Thompson onsan emeyi anom. Ene wo so wo san benate ase se oye diplomat a oba bedi ni juma e wo mai emo na Ghana woni bra ya bre e wo ku ensem emrebi atwam enti de all palm man ne se ku ebesan aba na eno so onye no e obi no se bisan se anye bia Britain enti obi betima sori keke obie na no ana odidi asoja fo atem obie na no se ku mra na oye de ope bia se Mame Harry Thompson enia no ye dia na chese di enti e na obi afom na ya so ne mu no oka de okan o se Britain so obi nam kwan so court na ofom e wo kwan so afrosifo ne nche no omo be che no enti wei ene nsemisa bebre makomako edunum e na woto e de mane mami e na obisa nse Mame Harry Thompson e se wunni anu yie e de ma ensemisa bebre am de ama we dia ene tiawa de meka che wan se di ufi asem esan se wambo no atra conventions na se nhihya aworo a ye de egu akwan so ama ahoho a womwo omayi emo enti wei eye ensem a IGP e de emane Britain aban anamusini a owo omayi emo na asemkoya ehono na opposition NDC amanyuko nso de krata apie edwa na NDC for ensem emono omso omu DIGP owura dampare ho ya papa ekwan wo fa so no de anuye ema Britain aban anamusini Mame Harry Thompson ewo memono wo chese entwa yie wo si de di nkan se nanka IGP eni nye tweet mpa Mame Thompson edekoto ni page no eho a de obetima ya ne se one Ghana mono ne soafo ebedi nkita ho nanka wo nam ye efisem ho nsem so Ministry of Interior etia mami enan so se Ghana de ebia yenkasa sa oye diplomat enti hwe kasa eye na so no IGP fato ho so wo tro krata ni nsemisa makomako edunum no wo mo NDC fo hu ne se enya de a etwa yie kra na NDC fo ensem emu no wo se na no ade ya hwe Ukraine ene Russia ntokoy ebaye omampanyi na adodan kwakufu ado edi kan kwam ebesori wo Ghana dimu ekasa tia Russia fo sa na mo matu no entwa yie enti eno no yebeka se convention na nhihye bi guo e na omampanyi wa trespass wato afa so enka bebi o so odi na wani e na nano akoyi ni kan wakoka de okan na enti wo mo NDC force wo mo ni IGP enya adwen kra enna se IGP eka se Britain aban na musini abeka asem e wo Ghana enti wafomomra enne se de omampanyi kokan Russia ni Ukraine for asem no yenso yebetima ka se omampanyi afomomra yanka ne sa de na se ontumi nka ne sa nso enche Mame Harry Thompson se wafom emra IGP se nsem a odi tu dwa nyina emuno NDC for nsem a wokan so hu ne se the IGP and aso opache se ne mema prosifo no omo ye kan ka bitumi bi no omo de ye adwuma wo memu na omo foma obi ntimi nkomasem na nka nye sa de a na enye ne kwan so kra enti ni nyina emu NDC for SA IGP no wose aso ye hwe amano ne nsem so ene ne kasa no mmane hu baabia obetia ene baabia ontia na omo manate ase so se onkasa ma Ghana ban ene won kasa ma omampanyi onkasa nso ma omenya sojafo enti ohun asemba babia obeka wei ensem a Johnson Asiedu nkatia General Secretary ma NDC amanyuko no ode ne nsa ahye ase
Jumede bi takoso ewo manyimu ni amaya hudo bi so ya tu ni Ghana Music Awards yete bi ewo UK ni de kwa America ene me ahodo na ebradu a wona ehye sa jumede nche se wo de ko France na makokọ no July da to so aduonu miensa ewo France memu
Because I no my Ghana hanum no France for che so mo ba be so mbi twetwe na wo mo so aye bi e wo mo emam ho no mo de abogana fo nwomtofo na baso esan so obi wo ho no mo ananwom aye hate pa ma wiase nyina som na so abaso bode bia enko emfa ma wo mo na ye nyina na ye no Ghana hanum wo mo so gidi so mo ye bi wo France wo no mo a ene no so no betimi de abogana fo me ya wo mo nwom no aye hate no abaso na wo mo so de ahye mo animunyam na July bo so me de to so aduonu mi ensamfie mpini aduonu mienu ene wo mo che say made in edition we ne bekoso France ahinkropon no emu na 27 categories and wo de ahye eye award we mu a wokọ artist of the year no category ni mu a ene emu ye tight ankasa sa akode wom Kidi wom Kwame Eugene Dinah Hamilton Kofi Kenata Fameye ene Black Sherif sipobo a wo de atoso eni portraying Ghana through music se wo ma omanfo ate Ghana nka aye nam enwom to so Madam Anne Sophie French ambassador to Ghana wo kasa no wo che se obabe piem wo my Ghana ha no wo Ghana for artist no mo ye ade panti wo mu hia se wo mbe support wo mu na wo so talent no matimi ato mu nchine eno nti eno ne na pamfo aso sa adwumade we mu a wo mbe so wo de bo Ghana fo anyomtofo no abaso no.
And I think that it's the responsibility of everyone to push France to Ghana and Ghana to France. It's really, you know, it takes more than just one person or one government or just the will of an embassy. It's the people's will. And the moment the French will and do hear the Ghana music, they just love it. It's something that speaks to the heart. It's about emotions. So it's not something that you decide and say, oh, let's bring Ghana to France. It's because you have amazing artists that France deserves to know him.
Madam Osa Frempong, wano CEO de Ghana Music Awards France femu die. Wachire na ni so de e de chire sponsors ni nyina e mo no so nsem ye gye ni say.
The atene say manage Ghana music enyom. Already me ankasa me a gospel musician. Me to asore nyom. Aha nyasa me to asore nyom a na no chire say nyom aka nse de ya na ebi mu ka no wi ase nyom no da bi. E wo say ye support ye die. Ohunu I was saying nyum to a quachre a France say no nyame adama main program on the 23rd July na Airbus of France e ye Toulouse no ye the Côte d'Ivoire for Congo for just say everybody ye frafra aha intino I am many just say ye ko mu Ghana enyum to no so no ye dey konani
Titina ni de Ghana Music Awards France femu Owura Gilbert Abeku Agri adodo na nim se ye friend no Abeku Santana any organizers de Ghana Music Awards France femu wo mu nyina yeje wo mu adwenkyere e de forma na montuo no ho e mo kasa sei
Mame Mavis Osa Frempong na e de bae na nipa bebre ka ho Bolare ka ho Nana Poku Ashes ka ho Mr Roger Cote ka ho Father Dixon ka ho Godwin Dogbe ka ho Darlene e ka ho nkofo bebrebe me role a me play ni say me coordinate me hwe say bibia be den e be koso enti no me take credit ni ma me ho team ene ye nyina ya den ya ye adwuma ba say wo hwe ambassador her excellency and Sophie Avi said the o she Ghana any France ye nkita hodie ye relationship o hwe mu kina no a na say ye adwontofo nso no ye take advantage na ye de ton ye ho e de ma eye afoforo e wo amanone enti we ya na kofa Ghana Music Awards France no e bye.
There's been Ghana Music Awards UK, there's been Ghana Music Awards US. Ya share one ahokeka and say one year one niama and ya share said ya Ghana ye art no etumpon her excellency and Sophie say na ahokeka efa art no so ye determine say ye be bibia e be a friend saying e be nkaide wrong na de bia e be Ghana Music Awards France na kwetsen ya ye Ghana Music Awards UK and Ghana Music Awards friends in US iti yesu ya ene ye di kakra ka ho ye de enim aka ho amana be ye stronko
Kasia bonesi aboafo special asinsuo na fe this way chocolate drink.
Asiedu enkoma cute cast beauty parlor wo na ye miti e na say West Closet e share me atade
Bidin ade Agya Kwabena mene
Obahima Afia Chesi
da mu nyina ase ama mu